If you are anything like me and are just wondering, what do you mean 90-something degrees today? What do you mean? Holy mackerel, where'd spring go? You have a home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state and world that we live in. I appreciate you hanging out with us. As promised, we will get today the actual facts, the numbers, the stats of the North American model of wildlife conservation, why the damn thing just works. And we don't need to be looking for other sources of funding for wildlife conservation. We're doing fine. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And we'll also talk about to catch and release or to catch and cook. Yeah, that's that debate will rage on, and we will take it head on right here on the Go Show. And appreciate you hanging out. Tomorrow, we're going to have Jason Baker. He's El Jefe, the boss man of Green Mountain Grills. Really want to talk about summer grilling, prep. Want to talk about the right way to manage a pellet grill, all that stuff. And his new Prime 2.0 line is out. What up, my man? How you doing, Eddie? Thanks for hanging out with us. Last night was super cool. Last night, I got to head out to the game and fish department. And being as I am the CEO of Arizona Outdoor Financial Corporation, yeah, you heard that right. Apparently I'm part owner of all the buildings of Game and Fish. Yeah, it is by title only. Don't worry, I'm not out balling or anything like that. But anyway, it was fun to go hang out with the guys. Director Ty Gray, Commissioner Guggenauer was there, and some champions, former Hall of Fame inductees. Were there for our selection process, the selection committee process for the annual Hall of Fame induction banquet, which is going to happen in August. So I'm very excited out here in the West Valley, out of the Wigwam. Get over to wildlifefortomorrow.org and get your tickets. It's going to be a fun night. We have 7 inductees. Technically, we have 7 inductees, and that's all I can say. I'm not kidding. I almost said something I shouldn't say. Yeah, I almost got into a lot of trouble there. So we have, there was just shy of 30 nominations for people that have been just wheels off, sold out for conservation, their whole life, volunteering, giving the time, treasure, talents to Arizona conservation. And let me tell you something, this class, wow, it's going to be a fun night. These are is in the many years that I have been emceeing this event and involved with Wildlife for Tomorrow, I will tell you, I don't think I've seen a stronger class. A more deserving class. We had so many deserving individuals that some are just, we just said, we're going to have to hope they get nominated again next year because we will, we're going to have to hold off. There were so many people. We have done so well. This is a huge state. This state is sold out for conservation and we love it. And we're proud of these people, but, Commissioner Guggenauer, Director Gray are going to be contacting each of the the inductees directly over the next 4 or 5 days, and then we get to make the announcement. So on Monday, I hope I will be able, Monday or Tuesday, I hope that press release will be ready to go out, and I can tell you who is going to be inducted into the Arizona Outdoor Outdoor Hall of Fame. There we go. Wait, maybe I can need some coffee. I'm only the vice president of the organization, for the love of grief. Holy mackerel, hold on. Mm-hmm. Get that fixed up. There we go. So it was just neat to see that of the selection committee, we had this cool chart, and this basically all the nominees, and then the categories on what we rank them in 1 to 5, and basically volunteered maximum amounts per year and all this. There was a lot in there. So we had final scores, and then we all had our top 6 or 8 picks that were definitely 100% we were going to vote yes for. Myself, Commissioner Guggenauer, and Commissioner Gray, Director Gray was not involved. He had to abstain, but he was there because he is part of our board. So he was there and lent insight to a lot of the nominees, but he is a non-voting member. So if you were nominated and didn't get picked, guess what? Wasn't his fault. You can come to me. It's okay. Just go ahead. Just go in the comments. Yeah. I didn't get picked either. So there. So, but it was neat. So we just said, okay, let's go down the list. And I think that my 7 that I had were the first names rattled off, and everybody said, yep, I had that one. 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 We need to move that to next year. Yep, I had that one. And it was done. We had a couple of questions, but that was it. We were all in agreement coming into the meeting, for the love of grief, on who was going to get picked. So I am just so excited for y'all to hang out with me out at the Wigwam Resort in the West Side in August, and we'll have a good event celebrating people that have dedicated their life and their, like I said, time, talent, treasures to Arizona outdoor wildlife conservation. So God love them, and I will get that name to you, Toot Sweet. But right now it is not available. We can't say, because I mean, seriously, I mean, social media goes around so fast. Somebody says, hey, most of these people don't even know they're nominated. That's the cool part about it. They're going to get a call from Commissioner and from Ty Gray, the director of Game and Fish, and say, oh, by the way, somebody nominated you to be inducted into our Hall of Fame, and you've been selected. How cool is that? I got the chills. I'm telling you, it's cool. And here's the deal. I mean, for guys like me, I've had an outdoor radio show in Arizona for 11 years. This is our 11th year. I am nowhere close to deserving of a nomination. That's how wheels off sold out these people have been, and just done so much for the betterment of our outdoor world here in Arizona. So I'm very, very excited for them. I know several other states do something similar, so it's going to be cool. I'm super happy, super excited. So let's get to it. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the new Florida program, where they connected with the Seminole Nation. And what's up, Lynn? And the Seminole Nation is donating bazillions of dollars to wildlife and habitat restoration. So are they going to need their PNR funds, or are we going to get those? How's this going to work? So I promised you that I would come to numbers. I would come with facts. Remember, when we have debate, we have truth on our side, especially when we're talking about the North American model of wildlife conservation and how sportsmen and women are used to help these conservation agencies not only fund them, but we also help cull those populations, so we have healthy populations in the great circle of life. Again, we are the most biodiverse non-coastal state in the nation. Arizona's it. I'll say it again. The most biodiverse non-coastal state in the nation. The coastal states get to count the fish. Okay, we only count freshwater fish. We have over 820 species that Game and Fish, your Arizona Game and Fish Department, manage healthy populations of. Only about 60 of those are game species. So you see, you can do. It's easy to do the math there. So, well, not really easy to do the math. It's like 760-ish have nothing to do with us. But if we weren't around managing the population of those 60, everything else gets thrown off. So that is basically the main pillar of the North American model of wildlife conservation. And it's sportsmen and women. Basically, it is treated as a public resource. I'm telling you, this is, I mean, just look, there's all of the tenets of the North American model. Number 3 was the one that caused a big kerfuffle a little earlier last month when it was the opportunity for all was in question when it came to auction tags. So we've been down that road several times. We're going to say, don't worry about it. So I want to talk about this. There were several species, and I mean game species, that were just darn near done. Toast. Forget about forget about on the danger list. They're on the endangered list. Okay, they were almost gone. And when I give you these animals, and when we took over managing those animals with the North American model of wildlife conservation, you'll see the numbers. Boom. Again, when we debate, when we talk, we do things civilly, and we win hearts and minds. We win hearts and minds with not battling, just offering fact. And I'm going to throw some facts at you right now. Coming in hot. Watch out. You're going to get fact. This is Safari Club International. One of the stats that I saw, which is pretty cool. Let's start with white-tailed deer. Oh, you know me. Let me see if I can blow this up. Okay, that makes it a lot easier. I don't have to put on my spectacles. In the early 1900s, there were 500,000 white-tailed deer in North America. Those of you from the Midwest will go, wait, what? There's 500,000 in my county. Yes, 500,000. Today, there's over 32 million white-tailed deer. Okay, 100 years later of doing things the right way and doing things with the North American model, boom, 500,000 in the 1900s to 32 million today. I mean, I don't really know how much more clear you can get. So let me do this here. I put success of the model, North American model of wildlife conservation. Let me just give you, let me back up, because I'm going to give you the 7 pillars. I'm going to say this is what the North American model of wildlife conservation is, and I want you to understand it. So when we chat, you can say, "What do you say?" Number 3, opportunity for all. What in the tarnation was that? Okay, here we go. The North American model of wildlife conservation is this, and I apologize for mentioning this so much in the past and not really running through these with you. Okay. The North American model of wildlife conservation. A, establish that all wildlife is held as public trust resources. That means we're all in on this. We all have skin in this game, and we have agencies that manage this. Number 2 was the elimination of markets for game. So what that is if I'm not going to go out and take my elk tag this year, get an elk and get on the corner and have a lemonade stand / elk meat stand, right? Okay. Obviously, you can extrapolate that to people that were just killing animals to sell the meat and the hides and like. Allocation of wildlife by law is that wildlife can only be killed for a legitimate purpose. Okay, what food consumption and that. So wildlife is considered an international resource. And if you don't understand that, international resource means that, like, let's say, migrating birds. Birds migrate between countries. So it's an international resource. Science is the proper tool for discharge of wildlife policy. Perfect. And democracy of hunting. Those are the pillars according to a act. So yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. No. So anyway, so I got this. So I got that. So now you have it. You have the 7 pillars. Opportunity for all should have been in there. Did I just click that? I don't know who the heck came up with that. We'll fix that. let me see here. This opportunity for all needs to be in there. I don't understand why it's not in there. Let me see here. Wildlife, yeah. Markets for game to be eliminated. Allocation of wildlife by law. Wildlife can be killed only for legitimate purposes. Wildlife is considered an international resource. Science is the proper tool. Democracy of hunting is the standard. So what that is, democracy of hunting as standard is interpreted as hunting for all. Opportunity for all. Okay. And we can get into the whole equal debate, equal opportunity, and not. So we've covered white-tailed deer and the success of the North American model. How about turkey? Those wild turkey. 1900s, early 1900s. Remember, we only had 500,000 white-tailed deer. Now we have 32 million. How about turkey? About 100,000. About 100,000 in 1900. Today we have over 7 million and growing. Do you understand that explosion and what that is? That is proper management of a species of wildlife. Bighorn sheep. Back in 1940, there was less than 20,000. Back in 1940, so 80-something years ago. And now there's over 95,000. Rocky Mountain elk. Here we go. Rocky Mountain elk, 1907, 41,000 of those suckers. Now we have over 1 million today. Black bear, 1900s, nearly extinct. Nearly extinct. Today, there's just over 1 million black bear in existence. Pronghorn, the speed goats, 12,000. 50 years ago, there's only 12,000 speed goats, only 12,000 pronghorn antelope in our nation. Today, there's 1.1 million. Actually, a little closer to 1.2 million. Okay. And then 1901, ducks and waterfowl. Ducks and waterfowl in 1901. Just a few. They didn't even know. They couldn't even count them. There were so few. They thought they were extinct. Over 46 million today. Yeah. And probably tomorrow we're going to have Jason Baker on from Green Mountain Grills. Maybe Friday, maybe Monday. We'll talk about how this model is being used in other nations and their successes along the way. But if you tell me, remember, I always say this: you always get if you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. Len, come on, man. Len, what are you? Come on, buddy. Don't get me excited. Don't get me excited to talk about Teddy Roosevelt. I will talk about Teddy Roosevelt. Yesterday, go back to the show, I was wearing a Teddy Roosevelt shirt. I love Teddy. No, actually, last night to the meeting, wore a Teddy Roosevelt shirt. Yes, Teddy Roosevelt, my favorite president, is the godfather of wildlife conservation international park system. Oh my gosh. Yes. Teddy Roosevelt is it. So then there's also John Muir. There we go. John Muir was like the OG, the original tree hugger. John Muir was a hippie as can be. You know, those two, Teddy Roosevelt, John Muir, went camping together. and had a little talk. Teddy Roosevelt really, I mean, pretty much let's be what it is. He lived by the mantra: if it's brown, it's down. If it flies, it dies. That dude would kill anything. Big hunter. John Muir was like, yeah, let's go chat. And they didn't. They came back and they came up with all of this. Actually, the seeds and ideas that became all of this. So yes, thank you for that question, Linda. It is. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt was it. If you look up Teddy Roosevelt and John Muir, you can have a really cool picture of the two of them. I think they were at Yellowstone or Yosemite, one of the two. And it's kind of grainy, but it's just a cool picture because you know what's happening there. And there's actually I don't know what, you got to be careful. This isn't family friendly, but there's this program, I believe it's called Drunk History or Drunken History. And they have an episode on Teddy Roosevelt, John Muir. It is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Yes. Yeah. So Lynn, it's true. Yeah, Teddy was it for sure. And definitely we owe him a big thanks. Yes. So when you do talk, and that's great, Lynn. So that's actually a good segue into this, because when you do talk to those that don't understand that it is the American sportsmen and women that fund conservation nationwide with Pittman-Robertson excise tax and the Dingle Johnson excise tax, because again, I'm a child. I like to say Dingle Johnson. I'm about to turn 49 years old. Still giggle when I hear say Dingle Johnson. Yeah. ABC's of me, kids. But that don't understand that that's how it's funded. Like, I'm not going to get political here, but can you imagine the amount of money that's taken off the table? And I've done this math, so it's millions. You eliminate the sale of certain modern sporting rifles and their ammunition, millions come off the table for conservation. And I'm not talking about a joke. I'm not like a joke, few million. I'm talking about tens of millions of dollars come off the table. It's something that people don't know. Oh, we'll just raise taxes, or we'll just, get the native tribes to native nations to kick in from the casinos. Not that easy. Not that easy. So again, I'm along the opinion, you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. In this case, guess what? We getting a really good return from always doing what we've always done, starting in 1900s. And then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That was my big argument, essentially, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, on the auction tags for Arizona. I mean, that brings in millions and millions of dollars for Arizona conservation right on the ground. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Yeah. So I'm against what the commission has done this with the auction tags. And again, I'm friends with the commissioners. So, but I'm against what they did. Me and Chairman Geiler were just sitting there going, well, I guess we're in the minority on this one. And that's how it works. I just remember the Commissioner Buchanan, I learned. Boy can brew some beer, I heard. If you're watching, Commish, let's talk. We'll get up on some of that. But anyway, I'm against what they did with the auction tax. I don't think, again, it wasn't broke. Don't fix it. So where we're going to go find that funding, it's going to be interesting. But again, in the department I trust, in the commission I trust, we're going to go ahead and see how it plays out. I'm a man that will just say, okay, I might be wrong. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. I've been in my 49 years on this planet. I've been wrong a lot. And I'm probably going to exceed that in the next 49 if God willing, I make it that far. So there we go. So have your facts, understand, and you can use this. It's pretty easy to kind of commit these to memory here. Where we're going here. Oh, that's the North American Model of Wildlife Conservation. Here we go. So white-tailed deer, wild turkey, bighorn sheep, Rocky Mountain elk, black bear, pronghorn antelope, ducks and waterfowl. Ducks and waterfowl is almost done. Went to 46 million. That's really all you need. Did you know we almost lost ducks and all waterfowl in our nation? Did you know we almost lost it all until we started using the model, the North American Model of Wildlife Conservation, to bring them back? And now there's 46 million. And guess what? We're out there banging our limits as much as we can. Still 46 million. Why? Because the program works. It's that easy. Yeah. Right, Chris. Look at why are we messing with it? A buddy of mine always just say, why are you borrowing trouble? Leave well enough alone. Please stop messing with the system here. Get these hands out of the pot. Yeah. What's the count on the wild turkey? Let me get that for you, buddy. Hang 1 second, sir. Wild turkey went from, in 1900, there was roughly 100,000 in North America. Now there's over 7 million. Yeah, baby. Woo! And this, by the way, these are older numbers. So these are older numbers that probably should be updated. They're about 7, 8 years old. So yeah, let's yeah, we're gonna update that sucker for you for sure. Yeah. So it's just yeah, just yeah, it's a fun just to make work for them. That's what a lot of people do. Wait, you want to justify being here, so you're gonna mess everything up so you can fix it? Ugh. That's a book. That's a book I read. I don't know if you've heard it. It's called Freakonomics. Wow. Freakonomics will kind of blow your mind. It kind of shows how what you basically, like my old pastor said, people always get funny when you talk about the money. Yeah, when it comes down to the economics of certain things, it's people get freaky. So Freakonomics, you can check that out. I think they have a podcast as well. And see, oh my gosh. Okay, Eddie brings up a good point before we jump to the next gig here. Eddie brings up a good point. He said I've had several tags and had seen one during tag season. This is why your host, me, Mike Russell, seriously, this is why. Oh, he hadn't seen one. Yeah. This is why I swore up and down Javelina didn't exist. I went 4 seasons without seeing a Javelina, and I would have gone 5 had Tequila Jim not knocked down one while we were on our trip. It's like, these things don't exist. I have no idea what these javelinas, people call them stink pigs, this and that. I'm like, I should be able to smell them if their name is stink pig. And I thought people would, they're posting stuff on social media. Look at, I got my javelina. I'm like, that's a plush animal. It's not real. If I don't see the thing walking while you take it down, then it doesn't exist. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. That's why I am so locked into getting a guide for my 7 West hunt. For this might be the last time I get drawn for bull elk in 10 years. So I am going to make sure that I make the best of it, get the best of my ability, get the best harvest I can. And I'm going to take advantage of that. So it's going to cost a little money, but worth it. Because think about this. I am a trophy hunter. I do. If I have a trophy, I'm done. I have a sheep, done. I'm good. I have a bison, done. So now I can put in for cow bison. I can put in, if I get the elk this season and get the bone up on the wall, I can put in for cow elk. I can put in for cow elk archery and get better odds of getting drawn, better odds of success. And let's face it, the ladies in these species, it's just better meat. It's a better harvest. So I'm all about that. Yeah. Feral pigs. Woo! Let's go. Oh, so yummy. It's just so good. It just is. And is, if the further you go east, if you stay in the southwestern United States, the easternmost section of the southwestern United States in Texas, I got to tell you, I got to tell you, there's not a farmer out there that wouldn't be like, yeah, come on over. Just go. I don't know. Take whichever one you want. Hunt with, take several. Don't care. I think in 2 years, the number of feral hogs in Texas will outnumber cattle. That's what a big problem it is. It's a huge problem. So feral hogs are great and they taste delicious. If you just want to get up quick and see what I mean, okay, just head up to Blue Rooster up in near Woodruff, and guess what? You can knock one down pretty big size for $500. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you bust out how much that pig weighs, how much meat you're getting off that pig, ain't a grocery store selling that for you in the valley. I tell you that. Nope, no grocery store selling it at that price. And you're not dealing with the processing garbage, all of the water, the chemicals, the injections, and all that blah blah blah. These are just pigs out there doing their thing, and it goes right to the processor, and then boom, you've got breakfast sausage, you've got summer sausage, you got hams. Woo! You got all these roasts to make your pulled pork. So good. And we will talk to Jason tomorrow from Green Mountain Grills about pulled pork. Yes. Helicopter hunting. Eddie, I've seen this and I haven't seen, it's Texas. I want to give it a try if I can do 2 things. And I'm not getting high and mighty here, but I want to, it's definitely on my bucket list because it seems cool as hell. There's 2 things that I have a problem with. 2. And we might have to move the catch and release debate over to Monday. But it is 2 problems I have. My father, God rest his soul, was in the aerospace industry for the second half of his pretty solid career. And he said, son, and my father didn't give me a lot of advice, at least good advice. He just didn't. My father was my biological father. My dad, my stepdad raised me since I was 3 years old. He's dad. So just where we're going with that. My father said, son, I've been in the aerospace industry now, and I forget how many years he said at the time. He goes, I'm going to tell you not to do one thing. And I said, what's that? He said, get in a helicopter. He said, I'm just going to ask you as your father that you don't get in a helicopter. I'm 40 and I'll be 49 on Friday. I have never been in a helicopter. I have sat in a helicopter. I have not sat in a helicopter when the rotors are going. Nope. I have kept that promise. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go off of that one. I'm gonna have to go away. Say sorry, Pop. I'm gonna have to get in this helicopter and do that pig hunting because that just seems like absolute wild. And then, and by the way, a friend of mine is one of the Aerovac, one of the medical pilots that flies people out of Glamis. If you don't know what Glamis is the big sand dunes. Everybody's out there with the sand rails, and inevitably someone needs to be helicoptered out of there. He's one of the pilots. He gave me the best quote I've ever heard from a pilot. He said, helicopters don't fly. They beat gravity into submission. Perfect. It is the perfect way to describe what a helicopter does. And when it starts rattling itself apart. So I believe the maintenance time, and I know this because my nephew-in-law works on helicopters, is substantially more than the flight time. So for an hour of flight time, there's substantially more maintenance time because it's just rattling itself apart. You said it's the greatest ride? Okay. All right. Okay. I believe you, Grizz. I really do. I think it looks really cool. But again, when your father tells you at a young age, puts his hand on your shoulder, son, I have something to tell you, and some fatherly advice. And again, he didn't give me much. So the fatherly advice was, don't do this. And I said, okay. Yeah. I have a buddy, Chris, who's never had a drop of alcohol in his life. And I said, why have you never had a drop of alcohol in your life? And he goes, my parents told me not to at a young age. I'm like, dude, you're 54. He goes, I know. They just told me not to. So it's bad for you. They're both doctors. So I took their advice. Okay, so at least I know I'm not the only one that does that. Okay, and then the second thing, Grizz, on the helicopter, the helicopter culling of feral hog populations, you do that in a helicopter. I want to be able to, the downed pigs, I want to be able to know where that harvest is going. It needs to go in my freezer, and maybe needs to go into some friends' freezers. And if I have to donate, if I'm up there having a good time, just pop, it has to be able to go to a shelter, or it has to be able to go to something good. And I know this from my days hunting in Missouri, where we had 1,000 hours. Holy. Okay, we got to talk offline about that one. That's awesome. Anyway, yeah, Chris just said he has 1,000 hours logged in a helicopter in his military service. So, thank you for your service, my man. And holy mackerel, wow, that's amazing. Anyway, in Missouri, there was you could buy deer tags. I think a buck tag was like $17. Doe tags were $9. And you can only get 1 or 2 buck tags, but you could buy up to, I believe the total was somewhere around 90 doe tags a season. Yeah. There you can go see like Sportsman's Channel. I remember the Drurys at one point, one of their shows. They just had this stack and they're doing the whole, thing with their thumbs going, let's go on management hunts. And they have 20,000 acres up there. So it's not, they have that kind of, counts, those kinds of counts. And so, you're out there, pop. You're like, what am I going to do with all this? I don't want to process this. Call an organization. It was called Hunters for the Hungry. And they just came around the man. And then boom, they took it all this. I mean, homeless, hungry in Missouri. Eating good in the neighborhood. That's right. We're having venison. We're having some backstrap tonight, which is awesome. And I would love to see, a giant feral hog tenderloin go right over to a soup kitchen or something like that, and grilled up and nice for the people. That's for sure. Or maybe I guess I should check the rules. Maybe I should check the rules with the Game and Fish Cats, but I don't know if I can donate meat to a nonprofit organization like our friends at Barbecue Mission. Barbecue Mission's fantastic organization. Every Monday they bring out the big smokers, the big smoking pits, and they serve the homeless for lunch. Twice a week they do this. They do it Phoenix and here in the West Valley. And it's just rad. Just people just show up. They go through line like twice. And I mean, they're serving good food. Pulled pork sandwiches, brisket, burgers. It's awesome. It's just a real, really cool thing. So if it could go to something like that, I would be into it. If the whole feral hog hunting from a helicopter with your AR. My AR is dialed in. Woo! I mean, yeah, I think it's red dot's done. It's over. And I think that is people say, oh, you hunt with an AR? My, you hunt with it. No, I hunt with a modern sporting rifle. It just happens to be an AR-15. And it's a Smith & Wesson. It's the M&P M&P Sport 2, I believe it is. And it is just dialed. So I would love to be able to helicopter, because where that dot is, where that is going to land. And I'm all about it. So, oh yeah. Look, feral hogs are destroying habitat. Next week, I'm going to have John Colazar on. Wait till you hear this. Next week, we're going to have John Colazar. We got two cool guests next week, two really cool guests. One is Ed Sanchez. He is the Arizona Game and Fish liaison to the House and Senate here in Arizona. So he's going to give us the legislation that's going through, stuff we need to look out for, stuff that, sounds good on paper, but things that, getting into an election year. So we'll definitely have Ed on. And then we're having John Colazar on to talk about the problem, and I mean problem, with feral horses. Don't even, oh no, we saw them at the Salt. They were great. They look so pretty. And so, not even the tip of the iceberg, what's going on. I mean, we're now dealing with conservation tags. We're now dealing with big game species tags. These horses are destroying things. So we'll talk to him about that. He's part of a huge, huge legal action that hopefully can save those kinds of things. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. Yes, I did say we're going to do the catch and release, or to catch and eat. We're going to push that to Monday. And we're going to also the big game the other nations using the North American model for their species, and what we've done with some really, really cool, what we would say like big game out in Africa and like. But tomorrow we're going to have Jason Baker on from Green Mountain Grills. And Lynn, wait till you hear what they're doing with some of these horses. You're going to go, it's below your mind. Anyway, and we can talk about pigeon as well. But tomorrow, Jason Baker from Green Mountain Grill is going to get your Green Mountain Grill, your pellet grill, whatever it is, whatever brand it is, running right, running smoothly, and some cool stuff coming up from them as well. And then Friday, we're just going to cut loose. It's just going to have some fun. Yeah, it's my birthday show, so we're just going to have some fun. We're just going to have a good time and play around. So, and we're going to do the same thing on the Brewmans the same day. So that's what's going to happen. So these amazing topics that we have, other nations using the North American model, and to catch and release, or to catch and cook, moved over to next week, when we're going to have two great guests that week as well. So thank you so much for being here. Hope you've had a great morning so far. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 right here with Jason Baker from Green Mountain Grills on the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of the state and world that we live in. Have a great afternoon, everyone.